Today on the Surviving the Human Experience podcast, I'm excited to welcome licensed massage therapist Shawn White to the show to share with us the powerful benefits of massage as a wellness practice. So, a little bit about Shawn before we jump into today's topic. He is the owner of Power of Touch. He's been a licensed massage therapist for over 18 years. So started this party in 2008, and
Woo!
right, exactly. It's been a minute. I love that. So
Mhm.
those hands have some miles on them. They have gotten their massage miles for sure. And so Shawn sees clients throughout DC, Maryland, and Virginia, so the DMV area for those who are local to this area. And then he also travels. So he said to me before we talked, anywhere his massage table can go, he takes it with him. And I have seen that with him. He definitely does travel. So if you're not local to this area, don't fret. He is on the move. So that's exciting. So welcome to the show, Shawn.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good morning to you.
Good morning. And so I just want to start by setting a little bit of the tone here. So before we dive in, let's just talk about our purpose. So
Mhm.
massage therapy is often thought of as that occasional indulgence, right? Here, women
Right,
are going to get their massage, or men are going to get their massage as like an
right.
anniversary gift, or maybe they're just going for a birthday. But for many, it's actually a serious tool for physical recovery, for stress
Mhm.
management, long term wellness. So, in this episode, we're really going to explore what's really happening in the body during a massage, the science behind its benefits, and how to know which type of massage is right for you because there's so many options. So, we're going to dig into everything from chronic pain, muscle recovery, mental and emotional benefits, and also any other aspects that you're going to share with us. So, whether you're a massage regular or you've never booked your first session, this conversation is going to change the way you think about touch, recovery, and taking care of your body.
Yeah.
So, let's do it. All right. I got a lot of questions for you, and our listeners want to know. No pressure, Shawn. All right. Talk to us first a little bit about who you are and what really drew you to massage therapy as a career. Like, how did you even get started in this area?
Well, I think my parents kind of groomed me like towards this health this health world that you want to call it. Like growing up, they used to always when I would do science fair projects, they would always have me do something about health, something about being a doctor, something about being healthy, something like on the heart or anything.
Wow.
So that kind of got my mind on like health
Mm-hmm.
and about like healing. But I definitely still didn't know about massage. So my first thought was, okay, be a doctor or be a dentist. So when I went to
Mm.
undergrad, I went to St. Augustine's College, which is St. Aug University now. When I went there, I went for pre-med because I wanted to go to be a dentist. But
Okay.
um, but every year, every summer, I always did internship to where
Mm-hmm.
it was something focusing on science, something focusing on health, and just every year I kind of looked at more and more what it was like being a doctor,
Okay.
and it was like that's when I kind of discovered like doctors get a lot of money or they're rich because
Mm-hmm.
because they're basically drug pushers. I mean, anything that like they necessarily believe, they can't necessarily practice that. They have to have their practice in the direction of what the drug companies want. They have to push their products. They have to do a certain amount of surgery, a certain amount of procedures, a certain amount of diagnostics, but that's all kind of based around the drug companies. So I thought to myself, that's not the way I want to be rich or the way that I want to make money. So I was still interested in massage. Oh, I'm sorry, I was still interested in the health field or in medicine. So I'll switch to the holistic side of things. That's when I did an internship at Howard University. And I was like, what kind of holistic things are there? What other ways that you can kind of heal someone or heal yourself? So I started mailing all of these different schools and colleges, and they sent me brochures on their curriculum and on their way that they kind of practice medicine and stuff. And then I just kind of just ran into massage, and I was like, Isn't that like a luxury thing or something different that that rich people kind of sort of get? And then I got my first massage when I toured the school. The school is no longer there. And MTI, it's no longer there now. But when I got my first massage, I was like, yo, if I can feel this good, I wonder how good I can make other people feel. So getting my first massage, I think really like put me in the mind state like I think this is what I want to do. This is how I want to help people, and this is the direction I want to go in. Oh shit. Oh shit.
So, oh my gosh, cool is that you were able to make that transition and make that shift from what was a journey, I will say, that kind of unfolded where you found something that just really resonated with you. Being able to find
Mhm,
what resonates with you is absolutely critical for sure. Yeah,
mhm,
love that.
definitely.
All right, so tell me a little bit about a common misconception that people have about your profession.
There's a couple out there, but I think the main ones that kind of stick out is that people always think that massage is a luxury versus a necessity versus it being for your health. Because
Okay.
no one really talks. I guess back when I got into massage, you didn't really hear it as much as far as, yeah, I need to go do my health regimen. Let me go get a massage. Let me go get acupuncture. Let me go get a stretch. You didn't really hear that like that. You always heard, let me like go to the doctor. So people always look at
Okay.
it as a luxury thing versus like a necessity thing. And then
Mhm.
another one is they think massage therapists are perverts, especially the males. It's like,
Mm,
well, where are you going to get the maximum amount of pressure from? I mean, no hate to women, but
right.
men are normally like bigger. They normally have like more muscles, so they can kind of reach those different levels of pressure that someone may need. But
Mhm.
um, but speaking of pressure, pressure is a big misconception on it. People always thinking, yeah, get in there, get really deep. I need it to hurt. I need to feel pain, no pain, no gain. It's like that's definitely the wrong side of thinking when it comes to massage and pressure, because if it pains and it hurts, then that's really kind of fighting the treatment protocol or the treatment that you're trying to get, because pain causes the muscles to seize up and not really relax, and that's what you're there to get, relaxation, and there to get your muscles lengthened.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mhm,
Yeah, and I think oftentimes, and I've seen it where people go for like the Swedish massage, right?
mhm,
And they're like, "Oh my gosh, I feel the knots coming out of my body." And
mhm,
I'll be honest with you, I until I worked with you and got to
mhm,
experience massage the correct way, I had
mhm,
done two massages prior and I stayed away from massage specifically because I walked out of those rooms both times, everything hurt. I literally left massage and I was like, "Oh my gosh, my neck." Like I literally had to go to the chiropractor because I walked out completely jacked up and I was like, what just happened to me? This is not okay. If this is what massage is, it's not for me. Everybody in the brochures looked relaxed and peaceful, and because I had been in a car accident before, I knew there were sensitive areas on my neck and on my back. So if you really get in there and dig too deep, it's really easy to find areas that were already more sensitive because of
mhm,
previous injury, having some challenges. And so I stayed away from it. And then I met you at an event, and I was
mhm.
like, "Huh, I guess I could give this guy a chance. He looks like people are happy when they're getting out of the chair. Nobody needs a tissue because they're crying. Nobody's in pain. And I'm not hearing anybody say they need a muscle relaxer after. So those were all good things. And so that's when, we had an opportunity to connect, and I have been able to experience the powerful benefits to see how well it feels, and it's been really wonderful. So I'm glad that you shared some of those misconceptions. So it's equally important to find the right massage therapist and the right type of massage, because there's a reason behind different styles and different types, which we'll jump into a little
Yep.
bit later. So I want you to share with us, let's talk a little bit about what massage actually does in the body. So for someone who's never had a massage, can you explain what's physiologically happening in the body during a session?
Sure, it's a few things happen. The lowers your blood pressure. It
Okay.
releases endorphins,
Mm,
and another big thing that it works on is your nervous system. So it helps activate the parasympathetic nervous system. And that's what actually drops your heart rate. That's what actually steadies your breathing. That's what actually does all of the different things like aid in digestion and help
mhm,
stimulate your lymphatic system. So all of those things kind of
mhm,
go into someone relaxing and someone getting the actual benefits from
mhm,
massage.
mhm. Yeah, and I definitely felt that when you were working on me, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm ready to take a nap now." I'm a very type A, like, let's do it, let's get it going. And after we had our massages, my daughter and I did massages with you. I literally was like, "Yeah, he was not joking about the nap." Because for someone who's like wound really tight and go, 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 all of a
Mhm.
sudden you feel that release, almost that like what is the rush exactly, right? Because all of a sudden your body doesn't have that tension in it anymore. It feels like release. That's literally the only term I've got for it. So, and I love that you shared the nervous system aspect, right? So, for somebody
Mhm.
who's experienced traumas or is just holding a lot of things in their body, and you have that nervous system dysregulation, this is another tool in the toolbox that can be added that can help really support and really be part of your self-care routine, because we are in such an autopilot, go, 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 no need to think, just get it done, have to perform, have to accomplish type of society. So it automatically triggers that nervous system to live in that survival mode where we're constantly in this fight or flight up against our own to-do list. There isn't even a
Mhm.
real threat, but your body doesn't know the difference between that saber-toothed tiger and whether or not getting your to-do list done is going to be the end of your life, right? So it
Definitely.
responds in the same way because your body isn't able to really differentiate, what that threat level is. It just knows there's something that's pushing it. Don't get me started on the cortisol conversation or any of the other
Mhm.
things, right? But what you're doing when you're working with those clients is just that you're helping to bring peace and stabilization into that space and calm things down. Yeah, I'm picturing, like, as we're talking, I'm picturing a furnace and I'm picturing the flames. And what's
Right.
happening is you're going in there and you're just calming down some of those flames a little bit.
Great
Yeah.
way to put it. Mhm.
Oh, yes. Got to be visual. I'm all
Mhm.
about it. It makes sense because then it's like something that people can really relate to. So
Mhm.
what would you say some of the well, you did touch on the blood pressure and things like that. Are there any
Mhm.
other well-documented benefits of massage that are backed by research that you wanted to share with listeners outside of what we covered?
It's the research has kind of gotten it more lately, which I definitely love because, like I said before, there wasn't too much research on it, or not really as much exposure as there is
Hmm.
nowadays. So, when I looked at a few research papers on, I have a whole library of books that I kind of refer to about it. But I did
Okay.
look up this one research paper by this PhD at the University of Kentucky, Jill
Okay.
S. Cole, PhD,
Mhm.
last year when they did a few of their massage trials with a few of their licensed trained therapists, that they had work on a few of their patients
Mhm.
that was in need of therapy, that I
Okay.
would just say.
Uh-huh.
So as they were doing their trials, and as they were using a holistic approach to help people who were injured or people who was in oncology, they their evidence that they found was people was their muscle tension was relieved, a lot of their
Okay.
pain was relief. It
Mhm.
did a lot for their mental health, which that's where
Mhm.
the release of the endorphins come in.
Okay.
Does some other things. that supported their circulation system, supported their immune system, and another big thing was that they seen improvement in their flexibility and their mobility, which that's what a few of the other modalities entails. Swedish is definitely a good one, but once you start getting into the other modalities like sports and stretch and myofascial release, that's when you're really cooking with oil and you're getting the much more benefits out of massage.
Okay. So I'm
Mhm.
glad you pointed those out because those were a few of my next questions. I was going to ask you
Okay.
about nervous system and stress and
Okay.
anxiety. And is that something that can also be supported by massage? Someone who is experiencing a lot of stress and anxiety?
Yes, yes, definitely. I mean, granted, massage doesn't take away your problems, but at least it at least calms you down so that you can more so deal with your problems. So by it lowering your heart rate and lowering your cortisol levels,
Mhm.
that's where you can kind of focus more. That's where it really does more for your mental health and
Mhm.
bring more clarity. Because when you're getting more blood circulated through the brain and more blood circulated through the body, it
Mhm.
also releases some of the toxins that were kind of
Mm.
stressing you out and that kind of put you in like funky moods. So
Mhm.
another great thing is that it releases toxins from your tissues and from your cells, and that's what also helps bring about better immune function, better health, and better and your stress levels overall lowering.
Mm. Wow,
Yeah.
there was a lot there. And, I love that you pointed out it's not going to take away your problems. This is not a
Mhm,
magic cure. However,
mhm,
it is a fantastic opportunity to add something to the toolbox. And, the reason I named the podcast Surviving the Human Experience, people always said, well, why is it surviving and not thriving? And I said, well, because as we're here going through this human experience, we need the tools and techniques to figure out how to survive, how to stay alive, right? There are
right,
so many things that are thrown at us as humans. And what are some of the things we can add to our toolbox along the journey? So even though Sean can come over and he can, greatly release the toxins, he can help with the blood pressure, the circulation, all the things. He's not going to be able to take away those big, huge problems in your life, but he can give that opportunity to give that stress release, that tool that's going to help you manage and support you as you work through those. And that's the key part here, too. All right, so
definitely.
you briefly touched on circulation. My next question for you was talk to us a little bit about inflammation and circulation and immune function and what massage can do in those areas.
With with those big things, those are kind of the big things that people kind of have issues with is the, "Oh, I'm so inflamed, things are tight, things are hurting." Well, massage can massage can definitely decrease your inflammation, and by it decrease your inflammation, it will increase your circulation. So
Hmm.
with the increase of circulation, that's when things get released, like all the waste in your tissues and in your
Mm,
cells, and toxins can be released and be flushed out. And with that, that brings on an increase of oxygen rich blood,
mm.
and
Okay.
and and we all know anything that lives in the oxygen rich environment,
Mhm.
um, disease goes away, or at least greatly gets reduced. So
Okay.
a good type of massage someone can get is a lymphatic flush or a lymphatic drain, and that's where you
Yeah.
can get a lot of benefits by releasing the toxins that were in your blood and that were in your lymphatic system.
Mm. My favorite one.
Yeah, you love
Sean
that
comes
one.
over and he's like, "Whoa, her leg just went down. Do you guys see this?" I'm like, "No, this
Mhm,
is real." Yeah. Yeah,
mhm,
he
mhm.
stands behind what he does. Absolutely. And that
Mhm.
inflammation piece is so critical, I think, because as I'm talking to more and more folks as I am doing the wellness coaching and talking to folks as a holistic health practitioner, one of the key topics that comes up is inflammation. We are so inflamed because of all of the different things that are coming at our body, whether it's the
Mhm.
food, the distortion of our food, the electromagnetic frequencies that our bodies are bombarded with, the stress. As you mentioned, oxidization of the cells is so critical, and
Mhm,
oftentimes we're finding ourselves just, we're sluggish. We're barely functioning because we've got that
mhm,
puffiness in the face or puffiness in the body, and it's all a combination of all of these external factors that are happening. And it's whether or not we're able to maintain and detox and flush those things out. So one
mhm.
of the things, and I'm a big fan of detoxes. I'm always doing some detox, right? There's always something going
Uh-huh.
on. And as we were talking, that was my primary reason for saying, "Hey, I want to do these lymphatic massages because give me something to help support the body." Because the body is like, "Whoa, what's going on?" I'm used to holding on to things, especially if you
Mhm,
have that high inflammation. And now it's like, what's happening here? And so you're gently massaging all of that out of the body, which is a beautiful thing. So,
mhm. Definitely.
yeah. So let's talk about types of massage because I know our listeners are probably like, well, I don't know which one's right for me. What should I do? So, and finding the right fit, I also want to talk about that. So there's different types of massages. We touched a little bit on them, but there's Swedish, deep tissue, sports, trigger point, lymphatic drainage. How should somebody choose which one's right for them?
I would say, especially for a first timer, just go get a regular Swedish because
Okay.
Swedish is the most basic ones that use the most basic strokes. So I would say, deep tissue is good, sports is good, but if it's your first time, definitely go to Swedish. And then when you're getting a massage, that's when a lot of times that's when you realize what actually hurts, because a lot of times people say, "Oh, I thought it was my neck, and I thought it was my right shoulder." And then when you actually go for a session, you realize it's your left shoulder, and then it's your lower back, and then it's your hips or your legs. So
Mm-hmm.
that can kind of give you what's actually going on with you, like what's actually wrong with you, and then you can talk to your therapist, just to get their endpoint about, I mean, just to get their viewpoint about what other modalities that you can try to get, because people always say, "Oh, I need deep tissue because it hurts so much, and I'm such in pain," but it's like that type of pressure may not be for you. It
Mm-hmm.
may not be something, it may not be something that you would need. You may just need a nice Swedish and a stretch. So you may just need
Mhm,
Swedish and you may just need Swedish in sports. So I would
mhm,
say start off with Swedish, just to kind of get your feet wet and see what actually works for you. Then kind of go into the different modalities of what you want or what you hear about.
okay. Makes sense, makes sense.
Mhm,
Yeah, because there has to be a baseline. I do the
mhm,
same thing with, my tuning clients. If somebody comes to me and says, which one do I do? Do I do the sonic meridian flush? Do I do the
mhm,
spine walk? Do I do the adrenal rhythm reset? And I'm like, let's do a standard. Let's see what your body's asking for. Because if
mhm,
you're new to something, you want to kind of dip your toe in the water, see what feels good, see what you're looking for, and then
mhm,
branch out into some of these other areas. So I think that's, really great advice. If you're starting with that baseline, you get the feedback from your body, you get the feedback from your massage therapist, and then you can start kind of playing around. Unless you walk in and you absolutely knew, like I called you and said, I need the lymphatic drainage. Let's go. Let's do
uh-huh,
it. Don't put your elbow in my back. But you did give me a good stretch at the end. When he talks about being stretched, oh my goodness, I was stretched. I was like, I might fall off the table, but he knew what he was doing. It was all good. So,
mhm.
all right. So, what's the difference between a massage that feels good and then one that is actually therapeutic?
Oh, that's a really good question. Um,
Mm,
in my experience, I think they kinda go hand in hand, or they should
okay.
kinda, like, go together, but,
Okay.
when you're talking about something that feels good, that's normally, like, your experience of
Mm,
relaxation, you know what I mean? That's not always, you're not always getting things, like, done or actually getting things relieved when you're just
okay.
when it just feels good and it feels, "Oh, great." That's just a lot of times you're just, uh, relieving your stress, so to
Okay.
speak, but another thing is when you're getting your actual results done, like, yeah, your neck stops hurting, your back stops hurting,
Mm,
you feel more of a release by those results. That's more of a therapeutic approach to it.
Okay.
That's when you've really got some good therapy done. Is when, yeah, you went in there for your feet hurting, you went in there for your back or glutes hurting, and
Hmm.
you got that's released. That's when that goal was met. That's when the therapist's intentions were met. That's what they
Okay.
actually wanted to deliver to you. But I think a key thing is the connection that's made between you and that therapist, because
Mm,
again,
okay.
this is all like energy. So, you know,
Hmm.
it's really important that you make that connection with the therapist versus just bringing anybody in your aura,
Uh-huh.
so to speak. So the connection, I think, is the most important part of all of that. Yeah, the results is good, feel good is good, because those are what's gonna like kind of keep you coming back. But a good connection with a therapist, or you'll be with them forever.
Yes. And I love that you share that. And that is so important because there is that energetic exchange. That person is like physically
Mhm,
using physical touch on your body. So your biofields are interacting. And if you're
mhm,
not comfortable and if you don't build that relationship, it's kind of like, okay, well, thanks so much for the massage. Um,
mhm,
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a key point. And it's funny because as you were talking, I'm thinking like the whole, hey babe, can you give me a massage? That might feel good, but it might not be
mhm,
therapeutic, right?
mhm,
So
mhm.
getting that licensed therapist that knows exactly what they're doing and how the tissues work and where the muscles are and all that jazz is going to be really important. So you
Uh-huh.
kind of touched on this one. I was going to ask you about the pressure piece and is more
Okay.
pressure always better? Is that a myth? But you did touch on it a little bit. Do you want to share any more about, the pressure levels? Is it just it depends on the type of massage? More pressure isn't always better, I'm gonna assume you'd say.
It does. I think it really does depend on the client versus the therapist, so to
Okay.
speak. Like a good rule of thumb, more pressure is not always good
Mm,
because it can do more damage to your muscles than good. But say
okay.
if you have 6'2", 250 pound uh football player
Hmm.
that needs like deep tissue, or that needs some work done, and his therapist is 5'2",
Uh-huh.
uh one 120,
Hmm.
there needs to be, you got to kind of match that pressure with that client,
Okay.
so to speak. So then that's when you got to do different modalities to help meet that pressure level that the person
Mm,
wants. But typically more pressure is not always the thing, because you can sometimes come out of the session in more pain, more hurt,
mm,
and more damage than what you originally went in there for. So I think it's just kind of just depends. So that's when there's a thing called the pressure scale, to
mhm,
where you're kind of checking in with with the client to see, hey, am I doing too much?
mhm,
Am I doing that enough, or like am I just right? So you want to be kind of like just right in a sweet spot. So
mhm,
you that, and mind you, that kind of ranges depending on the client. So you just got to find that sweet spot for that particular client. And then
mm.
once you get that sweet spot, that's when you're actually getting therapy. That's when you're getting the muscles to release. That's when you're getting the endorphins to come in, and that's when everything is actually working for that client.
Okay, makes absolute sense. Perfect. So, how often should someone get a massage to see real lasting benefits? What's the recommendation? If they're using this as a wellness practice, not just I want to go with my girlfriends or do a
Mhm.
couples massage, like this is my wellness routine and I'm trying to support my body, what would you recommend?
It really depends on what you got going on. So
Okay.
if you're an athlete, or if you're someone who got an injury, so you're like in rehab or so, you would
Mm-hmm.
typically want to go maybe once or twice a week,
Okay.
just for what you got going on, because
Mm-hmm.
athletes got so much going on with
Okay.
their body. I know athletes
Right.
go at least like maybe 2 3 times a week, or
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
somebody that's in rehab, they definitely go like once a week or once or
Mm-hmm.
twice a week, depending on what their pockets looking like, or depending on what their insurance will cover up. But
Okay.
but for the typical person, someone that's just under regular stress, or
Mhm.
they work at a computer, or they do like a
Mhm.
lot of driving.
Mhm.
Um, Once a month is kind of the baseline
Okay.
of where you should kind of be at once a month. But of course, if you have more issues or more problems, you can go maybe every 2 weeks or go every 3 weeks. But typically, once a month should be like a good standard for the regular person that's like not an athlete or someone that's not injured.
Mhm.
You and you want to just get your regular relaxation and just kind of go on a more routine regimen. Most places ask their clients to come in once a month.
Okay. Makes sense.
Mhm.
All right, so let's talk about massage for specific needs. So
Okay.
what can massage do for chronic pain?
So the thing about that is, now chronic is that's not a overnight fix. You know what I mean? Because chronic is when you had it at least like 6 months or more. So
Mhm.
that's not a like a quick fix, one session fix or type of thing. You gotta kind of go like over time, because the same way that it took you to build up that chronic pain, or to build up that injury or whatever you're having going on chronically, you gotta use the same approach to kind of get it back down. So
Mhm.
um, so over time, the massage can reduce the pain, reduce like tight muscles,
Okay.
and increase your circulation, calm down your nervous system more, helps with scar tissue and then things like that. But chronically, that's not a you got to kind of go more often. So then you should go maybe every 3 weeks or so, just kind of get that chronic pain to reduce some.
Okay, makes sense.
Mhm.
So can massage help with sleep issues? If someone has trouble sleeping or unwinding, is that something that could maybe assist someone with their sleep?
Yeah, it does. It does actually. That's what actually releases dopamine and serotonin, and
Mhm.
that's what actually brings down your stress and actually makes you sleep a lot better. I tell my clients that
Mm.
I ask my clients that a lot. That's one of the things I ask them when I'm at when I'm kind of when I'm kind of going through trying to figure out what's going on with them. I always ask them, "How are you sleeping? Do you sleep with too
Mm.
many pillows? Do you sleep throughout the night? Like, are you actually hitting REM sleep, or how long you sleeping for? What are you sleeping on? Are you sleeping on
Mhm.
your right side or your left side?" But once you kind of get your muscles to kind of relax and get your body kind of back in alignment, sleep
Mhm.
should definitely come easily and more natural.
Mm.
Hmm.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because if you are helping support that nervous system and that regulation of the body, then the body all of a
Hmm.
sudden is going to say, "Okay, I'm safe now. I can relax. I can release."
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So we talked a little bit about different populations when it comes to massage. Are there any particular populations that you feel like that benefit the most from regular massage?
Yes, I think people that work at a desk mostly, because they're like in a fixed posture per se.
Mm.
They're like this most of the time. So
Okay.
a lot of people that work on computers or work at a desk, they it's always typically the same issues: headaches, neck pain, shoulder pain, back pain. It's
Mm.
all like those typical all that same group of issues that they have
Mhm.
going on. So people that work at the desk, people that
Mm.
drive, athletes,
Mhm. Mhm.
um, older people, our elders, because a lot of times they don't have a lot of mobility, or they have
Mhm.
too much more restrictions,
Okay.
and their balance is kind of off. So I would say the
Mhm.
elderly people, new parents such as
Mm.
myself.
Such as
Um,
yourself. Congratulations again on the baby. That's so exciting.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. So
Yes.
so those of us who who aren't getting too much sleep, or whose stress levels are just like through the roof.
Mhm.
um you know, People like that, and older people, like I said, older people that have um less flexibility, less mobility, and also people who are injured, because all these
Mhm.
things are like rehab and trying to bring you back to
Mhm.
homelessness and bring you back to how you used to be.
So when you're working with, let's say, for example, your population of desk workers, you know that they're going to be in that fixed position, hands
Hmm.
are up on the keyboard, they're just plugging away. And I could
Hmm.
empathize with everything you just said because
Hmm.
I found that it didn't matter which ergonomic keyboard existed, which chair structure. Sometimes you get in there and you're just literally, you look up and you're like, how is the whole workday gone? I've been sitting in the same
Hmm.
place all day long and didn't even move. Do
Hmm.
you also give recommendations to your clients to say, listen, in between sessions, here are some tips that you could, incorporate that are going to help keep flexibility? Do you recommend that they get up and move throughout the day? What are some of the things you share with your clients?
So, recommendations would be definitely drink a lot of water, since our body is made up of 70 to 80% water. You know, you got those different metabolic changes that happen in our body, that water is a big key component with.
Mhm.
And and for people who are like at work just plugging away, typing all day, you got to take a break to get up, walk around, kind of like drop your shoulders,
Mm.
kind of like loosen your
Stretch,
arms.
loosen it up. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, do like yeah, something like that, kinda like a quick little stretch, cross body stretch or cross the head stretch, just to kinda get, just kinda get blood circulation going again, because a
Mhm.
lot of times you can sit there and you just freeze up, and you're not even thinking about your health or
Mhm.
eating, you
Mhm.
know? A lot of people sit and work and either, like, sit at the desk or, do hair, and they be like, "Yeah, I didn't I didn't really get a chance to eat. I didn't really get a chance to stop, take a break." Well, it's like, well, you don't wanna crash. You don't wanna
Yeah.
hurt yourself. You don't
Right.
wanna hurt yourself, so you gotta definitely take a break and just kinda refuel, get some water, get some coconut water, get some sun, go for, like, a quick, I don't know, maybe uh a 5-10 minute walk like around the office or like something
Mhm.
like outside to get some sunlight, get some vitamin D, just
Mhm.
so you can continue back to working and to not crash, so to speak.
Mm. I'm glad that you shared those tips. And when you said the water piece, I always got to give my little spiel on water here. Make sure it's good water, right? We don't
Mhm.
want
Yeah.
the bottled water. We don't want the microplastics. We don't want the toxins. We don't want the unfiltered water that
Mm.
is going to be full of a bunch of stuff too. So the quality of our water matters. And I did a show on water and quality. So you're more than welcome to go check that out, listeners, if you'd like to learn a little bit more about water. But some of the things I do at home, I have my Berkey water filter that I run
Perfect.
my stuff through, drinking out of glass bottles, right, instead of the plastic or stainless steel. Just make sure that you've got some quality water going on there. And I love that you share just even the stretches, just getting up and moving around. It's such a
Mhm.
simple thing to do. And it seems like, oh my gosh, yeah, why wouldn't I have thought of that? But sometimes we do forget because we get into those modes where we're just, again, we're a production based, results oriented society. We just want to hurry up and get things done. And keeping in mind that if you don't care for your human, your physical structure, nothing is getting done. So, is that, 5 or 10 minute brisk walk really going to take, that much out of your workday? Probably not, because you've
Right.
now become a little more productive because you got the juices flowing, the body's feeling good.
Mhm.
There's nothing worse than sitting at the desk and being in pain and not really understanding, and then you've got the stiff muscles, and then you're calling Sean and saying I need a massage 4 times a week because my body's completely stiff, right, as opposed to once a week or once a month.
I don't
But we
mind it. Oh, I don't
I was
mind
gonna say
it.
he's here for the calls. He's like, please do. But it's interesting because we tend to unintentionally hurt ourselves without even realizing it, without
Mhm.
even, it's not purposeful. The meal thing, I'm right there with you. Like, I literally can sit, I was recording classes and doing some stuff the other day, didn't even realize it was already dinner time. I was like, how did that happen? Didn't even have breakfast, didn't have lunch. None of that is good stuff, right? We want to make sure that we are taking the time to be intentional about caring for our human. That's huge. So
Definitely.
yeah. All right. Let's talk about some safety and red flags here. So, are there situations where someone should not get a massage or should check with a doctor first? What recommendations there?
A couple of ones. Some, if you have like heart problems, or if you have open wounds, if you
Okay.
have if you have a fever or infection. Some of these things can kind of make it worse. It can kind of make the infection spread around through your body,
Okay.
or the wound won't necessarily heal right, because
Mm,
if you're going over the wound, then the wound can't scab up and can kind
mhm.
of heal you properly. Um, big thing is another big thing is like if you have like cancer or
Mm,
something around that, because those cancer cells can spread to the different parts of your body. If you're in the area where they have cancer, like let's say like you have like breast cancer, you don't really want to massage like around the chest or the
okay.
stomach area or the breast, something like that, because you can spread it to like different parts of your body.
Wow.
um if you're pregnant, pregnancy, that's a whole modality in itself, to where you have to like lay on the table a certain way. You can't really lay on your
Okay.
stomach. You you probably can't lay on your back for too long. So
Mhm.
and then there are some cases where if you do reflexology or massage someone's feet while they're pregnant, you may can tip them into going into labor. So
Yeah.
things like that, you kind of got to be really mindful, or be really careful of, or not get that much therapy done. Like don't get massage done for like an hour or 90 minutes or 2 hours.
Mhm.
Maybe
Mhm.
like maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Some of the smaller time frames would be
Okay.
beneficial for someone who has cancer or for someone who's pregnant or something like that.
Mm. I'm glad
Mhm.
you pointed that out. I do recall in studying reflexology, there were certain areas that you're like, nope, do not touch here if the person is
Mhm.
pregnant. So, yeah, that's a really good point as well to make.
Mhm.
So how do you know if a massage therapist is properly licensed or reputable? How would somebody know, for my listeners that are like, all right, Sean, I hear you. I'm gonna go get my massage therapist tomorrow. I'm gonna do the
Mhm.
thing. I'm not in the local DC, Maryland, Virginia area, and I want to
Mhm.
get this massage on the calendar this week. What should they look for?
Well, you can always look up someone's license number and always look
Okay.
up what state that they're in, just to check their status, because everything is online. So it would tell you if they're licensed, if they're not licensed. You can always look up reviews for their practice to see what other people have been saying about them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, think
Okay.
things like that normally always help. That's like a good first thing to look at if you're that curious. Not
Uh-huh.
not necessarily
Sure.
saying that there aren't bad people out there, but just for yourself, if you're like a first timer and you don't know, you can always look up somebody's license and look up their practice.
Okay, excellent. And that's helpful. So, understanding that in this modality, there is a licensing requirement. There are plenty of people that I'm sure love to do massage and enjoy it, but we want to make sure we're looking for a licensed practitioner when we go for these massages, because that's the person that's gone through the rigorous training and education and understands exactly what's happening in the body and will be able to really, follow certain training protocols, things like that. So, I'm glad that you pointed out that you can look somebody's license up. Sometimes people will have it, printed and you could see it there too, right? And the reviews, I think
Mhm.
that's another great option. And then sometimes we have friends or family who are already using a massage therapist, and you could say,
Yeah.
hey, who are you using? So word of mouth, I think, is another really good one too. So
Mhm.
what should a first timer expect that might surprise them about massage? If it's their first time, is there anything that they'd be like, wow, I didn't expect this to happen?
You can, a lot of times you can get like unusual like sensations. Like you can go over like a muscle where you're like, oh wow, I didn't even know that hurt, because you may have like a knot or maybe a more like tensed area.
Okay.
Sometimes you can experience like stomach noises.
Mhm.
That will be your body actually um digestion of food or beverages that you've had. Sometimes you can feel sore later,
Mm,
which is not
okay.
always like a bad thing,
Uh-huh.
um, so to speak. So
Yeah,
soreness can like come about because maybe you didn't drink water the next day. I mean, right after the session, or the
sure.
next day you didn't have enough water to drink. Um, you might get hooked. You might say, "Oh my God, that was like the best thing I've ever felt in my life. I
Yeah.
need I need to make more appointments. I need to be like on a regular regimen." I mean,
Mhm.
I may need to call you more often. I may need to put you into my weekly habits or something like that. So,
Yeah,
which is always a
sign me
great
up.
thing.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
mhm,
Yeah, and I'm glad that you pointed out the different sensations, right? Because you're getting things to be back in flow and in alignment. So if you've been having some circulation issues, you might be like, "Whoa, like what is happening over here?" I didn't expect to be tired. I was like, "Yeah, whatever." When you
mhm.
said, "Oh, do it earlier in the day, that way you can rest the rest of the day." I'm like, "Rest? I've got like 75 things to do on this to-do list." He is kidding, right? Like, who is doing all this resting? And after my daughter and I had our sessions, I was like, yeah, so I'm gonna be upstairs taking a nap. Call me if you need me. And she was like, me too. And I was like, no, like I really, because again, I did the lymphatic one. And so there was a lot of drainage going on, a lot of support to the body that was needed. And I was a little shocked because I'm like, yeah, I don't get tired. I just keep going and going. But you were right. I was tired. And I was like, never mind. Let me just take my happy self right on up to this bed and go take my nap. And that was the difference between a massage that was therapeutic and doing
Mhm.
something, at least in my mind, that's what that was for me, versus just having somebody come rub my shoulders. And I'm like, oh, that feels so good. I released that tension, This was like, oh wow,
Mhm.
like some real stuff just happened here. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, so let's talk about a few. We're coming sort of to the end of our show here, but I'd like to
okay.
talk about a few practical and personal things before we wrap up. So, what's something that people can do at home in between sessions to extend the benefit of their massage? You touched on a few, but just to kind of remind our listeners, because we covered a lot here.
Mhm. I would say be aware of how you're sleeping, be aware of, like, your posture, like, when you're working or when you're driving or when you're doing hair or when you're cooking, just kinda be aware that your shoulders aren't, like, slumped over, kinda like rolling back,
Mm,
drop your shoulders some, use a heating pad, use some gentle stretching. Gentle stretching every day can kind of go a long way because that can actually wake up your muscles, wake up your circulation system, wake up your lymphatic system.
mm,
Um, a big thing is definitely stay hydrated. If you're not drinking enough water or not eating enough foods that can hydrate you, definitely try to increase that because hydration is like a big thing that people don't really like kind of believe that so to speak because they always say water makes me use the bathroom so much
I,
I can't really sit still because once I drink water I got to run to the bathroom. It's like, yeah, that's good, but that's a good start. Once you keep drinking more water, then your body can kind of regulate a little bit better.
huh? Yeah, and absolutely. And one of the recommendations I always share is 50% of your body weight in ounces of water. So if you weigh,
Mhm,
200 pounds, strive for 100 ounces of water a day at least.
mhm.
And then if you're finding that your body is not absorbing that water, maybe you have some stuff going on and you're not really absorbing, adding something like a LMNT, like a
Yeah,
salt, an electrolyte salt in there, something
yeah,
to help the body absorb so that it's not just exiting the body immediately, but it's actually absorbing and it's being productive. Because a lot of times we're drinking water that's either gone through filters that are stripping all of our minerals out,
yeah,
they're
yeah,
stripping everything, and it's like you got to put something back in there because the electrolytes are really where the magic is happening. So
yeah, yeah.
that's super key and important too. And then what was the other thing? I thought of something while you were talking. The stretching, it's huge. Like as we're aging, not that we are, but if some of us are in our 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s and on, things aren't working the same as they did in our teens and our 20s, right? So stretching becomes even more important for our body and being aware of where we are in our journey of life, knowing that at certain ages, there's different supports that are needed. So I definitely had to get on the stretch kick because I was always the girl that like shows up at the gym and jumps to the weights. Like, there's no need for stretching. Who's doing all that? That's just, I know. And you're looking at me like, girl, stretching is key. And you stretched me. You're like, this girl needs some stretching in her life. So
Mhm.
I have gotten my little bands and I'm starting to do a little more stretching because I'm trying to be a team player to make your job a
Makes me
little
proud.
easier.
Makes me
Yeah,
so proud.
I'm trying to make your job easier, Sean, when you show up, so you're not like this girl right here. Like she is not Gumby. We gotta pull this. This is like not taffy. So yeah, I struggle with the stretching, but I am doing better. So
Good
there's
job.
always
Good job.
room for improvement. All
Mhm.
right, so share with us what's the most rewarding part of this work for you?
Oh man, a lot. Like I was saying before, when I first got my own massage, and then my first massage, and then I how great I felt after that first massage. I can't even remember her name, but just that's what kind of just like got me into it. And I figured if I felt this good, then how good can I make like other people feel? So
Mm,
so seeing people more healthy, seeing people walk better,
mm,
seeing the relief and the blush on people's faces, and
yeah.
just and just seeing people's pain overall be gone, or at least reduce greatly. So
Uh-huh.
all of that really helps me feel better. Oh, can't forget about repeat customers and repeat clients.
Mm,
That always makes me feel great and wonderful, because then I feel like I'm needed. I feel
mhm,
like my therapy is actually working. I feel like people are
mhm,
actually getting results and benefits from it, because that's what kind of steered me away from being a doctor or a dentist, actually practicing the
mhm,
Western medicine, because it's like those things, yeah, people are coming back to you, but they're not necessarily coming back to you all like big smiles and all excited and
uh-huh,
ready, and just like can't wait to see you. When people come
mhm,
back from massage, they be like, "Oh, yo, man, this happened, that happened. I couldn't wait until this day came, until this time came where I could see you, because man, I needed this, I needed that.
mhm.
This has been really going on," and they have confidence and faith that you're actually going to not solve their problems, but that you're
Yeah,
actually going to
you
bring
deliver
them.
results.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm. Mhm.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Ooh, I
Mhm,
love that. Those were powerful. And that's really cool because exactly like you pointed out, when you go back to the doctor, you go back because there's still a problem. The
mhm,
service you're offering is you go back because you're seeing how it's supporting your overall health and preventing the problems, right? So
mhm,
that's the cool
exactly.
piece. You get to see people in a different space than,
Mhm,
when you show up in the doctor's office, it's like, I'm sick, or I've got this issue, or I've got that issue. And for this, it's those repeat customers are like, listen, this is working and I am feeling better and this is keeping me happy and healthy and from some of those other issues that could maybe have happened health wise. So, absolutely beautiful. Which reminds me, after we finish here, I got to go ahead and schedule my next massage, but we'll take care of that after we finish with our listeners.
got
I
you
know you
covered.
got me covered. Yes. All
Mhm.
right. So, any final advice for someone considering making massage a regular part of their wellness routine before we close?
Don't wait, just do it. Find someone local, find someone in your area, find someone around that can actually deliver a massage to you, because massage is one of the easiest ways to maintain your your good health, by doing something that's like really natural and really
Mhm.
easy. Get you a aromatherapy massage.
Mm,
Get you a nice Swedish massage. Get you a nice hot stone massage. All these things is all for your benefits. All these things is is for your mental health, for your physical health, for your stress levels, for your overall health. I mean, people always look younger. People always look like they relieve a lot of their stress, because stress is a big thing. Not only here, but like around the world, that people are dealing with. And if that's one of the things that you can decrease or eliminate for the most part, I
mhm.
think your life will be much more easier, much more beneficial. I think the world needs massage. Everybody can benefit from massage, because everybody has stresses, everybody has muscles, everybody has tension. We all typically go through the same things, or at least like similar things. Massage is a great way to kind of help reduce the benefits. I mean, I only realized that once I've gotten older. I mean, not everybody likes shots, not everybody likes vitamins or pills, but everybody likes massage.
Absolutely. And it's just like a car, right? We take our car in for maintenance. Our car needs
Mhm.
maintenance. You can't just keep driving it and driving it and driving it and think you're going to have the same experience as when you first drove it off the lot. right? It's just not
Hmm.
how it works. And the body's the same. How do you expect the body to continually optimize performance if you're not putting in the care and the maintenance? And when you
Exactly.
shared and when you came over and you did our massages, I thought to myself, yeah, this is essential because we missed the boat on the fact that our bodies need the attention, they need the care. What are you doing to support your body? And so you've
Hmm.
offered us a beautiful solution. So before
Hmm.
we conclude today, Sean, we covered
Hmm.
so much, and I thank you for all of your knowledge and wisdom and insight
No, no
because it's
problem.
been,
No problem.
yeah, it's been beautiful. I know we talked already. You are in the middle of rebranding and redesigning the company, and so
Hmm.
you're updating that site, and we're going to have a brand new website coming soon. So for our listeners, I will keep you posted when Sean has that up and running. I will share that information. But in the meantime, if somebody wants to schedule with you, because I think you're phenomenal and I'm a personal reference here for massages, and Sean comes and he takes care of me and my family. So, and I don't just let anybody put their hands on us. So that's a
Hmm.
significant thing. How can they find you if they want to schedule a massage if they're local in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area?
So I'm a more mobile therapist. So that, like I said, I travel with my table or my chair. But if you want to schedule with me, you can always email me at slwhite86@gmail.com. So S for Sam, L for Larry, white for the color white, number 86@gmail.com, slwhite86@gmail.com. Sometimes I do use other locations to bring clients to, at either at Crave Therapeutic Massage, that's in Fort Washington, or you can also see me at um, the Heavens Spa in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. So either one of those
Excellent.
two. If you don't want me to come to you, you can either see me at the Heavens Spa, Upper Marlboro, or you can see me at Crave Massage Therapeutics.
Beautiful. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Sean, for being on the show, for sharing all of the information about massage. As we can tell, you are super passionate about it. I'm glad that I made the choice to incorporate this into my wellness journey. I have seen a tremendous difference. Yes, and you're the only one who gets to put their hands on us. So I am serious. I'm very loyal when I find that person. So anybody who is local, absolutely recommend, hands down. And you'll also see him at future events with us as well, because as I continue to do events and we bring folks in, he's my massage guy. He's our go-to. So, all right. Well,
Mhm.
thank you for being here again. And for everyone listening, stay well and be blessed until our next podcast. Take
Thanks
care.
so much. You too.